Stand for the arrival of the official party as we begin today's National Memorial Service. Please be seated. I would like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I also acknowledge and respect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders in attendance here today. Welcome to the National Memorial Service for Fire and Emergency Services personnel. I am Assistant Commissioner Rebel Talbot from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, and I will be your MC today. I would like to extend a welcome to Their Excellencies, General the Honourable David Hurley, AC, DSC, retired, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, and Mrs Hurley. Her Excellency, the Honourable Dame Annette King, High Commissioner of New Zealand. His Excellency, Mark Glauser, High Commissioner of Canada, and Mrs Glauser. From the Embassy of the United States of America, Senior Regional Security Officer, Jeanette Meyer. Distinguished guests, families, commissioners, and chief officers of fire and emergency services from Australia and New Zealand, agency members, welcome one and all. Could I ask you to please stand for the Australian and New Zealand national anthems to be performed by the Woden Valley Youth Choir.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Gulamanya Australia.
Thank you, and please be seated. AFAC CEO Stuart Ellis, AM, will now provide an introduction to today's service.
Your Excellency General Hurley and Mrs Hurley, thank you so much for being here this morning, and we are so pleased to see you here and for your ongoing support for fire and emergency services. To the families and friends of those who have died, who we are recognising here today, we're here for you. Distinguished guests, my colleagues across fire and emergency services, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the AFAC President, Commissioner Paul Baxter, the AFAC Board and AFAC Council, I would also like to welcome you all to the Fire and Emergency Service National Memorial, and it is AFAC's honour to host this event. Our fire and emergency services are organised on a jurisdictional, state and territory basis, and they gather together as a national council for New Zealand and Australia, known as AFAC. Participating in this service provides national, indeed Australasian, recognition through that council for those who have served and those that have died. Gratitude of grateful nations, recognising those who, while seeking to protect their communities from fire, flood, cyclone and other emergencies, have lost their lives. We are here this morning to respect and reflect on those that have died serving their communities, acknowledge and support those families joining us here today that have relatives inscribed on the memorial wall and those who will receive an AFAC medallion, and hold in esteem all those who serve day in, day out, at all hours, volunteers and paid. Our industry has a proud tradition of service with those paid and volunteer personnel totalling over 250,000 across government urban fire and rescue brigades, rural fire services, state emergency services and land managers such as parks and forestry personnel. This capability is a major contribution to national preparedness and resilience, improving mitigation, response, relief and recovery from natural events, but also from day-to-day emergencies such as road crash rescue, and reducing risk by conducting activities such as prescribed burns. Following the ceremony today, there will be an opportunity for us to visit the memorial wall and to read the 578 names and place rosemary next to them. The memorial wall was a specific initiative of AFAC, and while we are proud of creating a permanent national record of those that have died on duty, we are concerned to ensure the names are maintained in good order, and we are working with the National Capital Authority to ensure this occurs. Following the official address, the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley will present families with an AFAC medallion inscribed with their loved ones' names and miniature medallions for family members. We trust that these will be a small but important acknowledgement of our vast regard and esteem and respect for your loved ones. Much has been said regarding the motivation and dedication of those that serve for our fire and emergency services and those that have died. You have the opportunity to reflect on the words inscribed on the reverse side of this memorial, and I will read them to you now. Vigilance, readiness, coordination, service, humility, volunteerism, prevention, cooperation, camaraderie, trust, capability, awe, vulnerability, spirit, grief, sacrifice, courage, skill, compassion, support, honour, recovery, humanity, community, and hope. And all those words are inscribed on the other side of this memorial. Thank you for participating in today's service and for being here this morning. It's a tremendously important occasion for fire and emergency services and, of course, for the families and friends of those who have lost a loved one. Your participation here today and the presentation of an AFAC Memorial Medallion to families and the inscription of names of those who have died on duty onto the memorial wall here in Canberra provides ongoing national recognition and hopefully a level of comfort to those who have lost so much. To the families and friends, may you know that our industry, our communities and our countries acknowledge your loss, and we offer our love and support.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to welcome His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, AC, DSC, retired, for the official address.
Good morning, and it's a great privilege for Linda and I to join you this morning in a very special national ceremony when we reflect and remember those who've given their all for our country. I also begin by acknowledging the Ngunnawal people, the traditional owners of the land here around Canberra. Thank them for looking after this beautiful part of our country for generation after generation, and pay respects to their elders past and present. Could I acknowledge Her Excellency Dame Annette King, High Commissioner for New Zealand, His Excellency Mr Mark Glauser, High Commissioner for Canada, our other diplomatic representatives, Commissioner Paul Baxter, the President of the Australasian Fire and Emergency Services Authorities Council, our other distinguished fire and emergency personnel, particularly today, families of those who are to be commemorated, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today is an important day on the national calendar, and this memorial is an important location in our nation's capital. An important day because we honour the service of individuals who serve their country and their communities, not for recognition, but because they cared about those around them, about their loved ones and their mates, and about their community. And an important place, because this memorial is a permanent reminder of ultimate sacrifice. Lasting recognition that faced with danger, they chose to serve and put themselves in harm's way for others, for us. And most importantly, it's an important time and place because it is an opportunity for an entire nation to acknowledge the loss suffered by families, friends and colleagues. For us to say as a nation and a community that the service and sacrifice of your loved ones will not be forgotten. Since the 2019-20 bushfires, Linda and I have continued to visit the communities that were adversely impacted by those fires. We do so to reassure those that were impacted by the fires that they remain very much in our nation's thoughts. The crisis has passed, the danger long since receded, and recovery is underway. The damage, particularly the emotional toll, however, remains. Recovery is ongoing, but it will take many, many years. And it's important that those impacted know, even as the media attention fades and the public consciousness shifts, that we remain there for them. And by we, I mean all of us. That we are still thinking of them and conscious of what they went through and are going through. We also spend time with the volunteer firefighters to reassure them that their service during the most recent emergencies has not been forgotten, and to acknowledge that they continue to serve and to thank them for that service. I said on Australia Day 2020, as the fires were still burning across the nation, that adversity both builds and reveals character. And the strength of character exhibited by our volunteer fire and emergency services personnel is something that we should all aspire to. In fire sheds around the country, Linda and I have spent time with many volunteer firefighters. I try hard not to generalise. Each person is unique, has a different story and motivation, but there are some common traits. They are humble. They serve because there's a job to do and their community needs them. They care about their mates and they look out for each other. And they may be volunteers, but they're committed and they know exactly what they're doing. Not only do they give freely of their time and themselves, they do it in dangerous conditions. They face risks and make sacrifices. When tragically the ultimate sacrifice occurs, there are loved ones left behind. Today especially, our thoughts are with you. To the families here today, know that we will always remember their service and the bravery of your loved one. That we'll remember them when their community was threatened, they served, they responded, they gave. They were brave and they continue to inspire us. As I said to the families yesterday, these are not empty platitudes. An entire nation shares these sentiments, and I hope that that respect, that love for you is a comfort to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Please welcome our chaplains from the ACT Emergency Services Agency, Chris Dudfield, Catherine Clark and Tempa Doom.
This place stands uniquely in the landscape. It's exposed to the elements, wind and rain. We are drawn to this space of reflection and contemplation. This place provides a sense of safety, like that provided to us by emergency services personnel. It is this safety in knowing that each service, while unique, shares common values, a common drive to come together for the better of the community. In a year of challenges for communities across nations, we have faced fires, floods, and a global pandemic. Communities have been left devastated and isolated, but the generosity and care across our communities help us pick up those pieces. It is this sense of community in times of need that drive our emergency services personnel to bravely and courageously give themselves selflessly for our protection. In many traditions, this is the ultimate sacrifice. To love those around you so much in your community that you would place yourself in danger or give your life to protect them. We acknowledge those who have made this ultimate sacrifice, who have died in the line of duty. By acknowledging them here today, coming together in this place of safety, we can love, we can grieve for what was and what will be. It is this place that is etched with the images of fire at night, lightning flashes, and the shadows of one's body cast by the strong sunlight or fire, that we're reminded we are not alone. For that, we are grateful. We as a community are grateful for those who have, without second thought, placed themselves in danger, have been injured or have died, so that we may maintain our way of life. Whilst we hold hope for those who have been injured and mourn the loss of those who have died with great sadness and grief, we can take solace that they are remembered here, memorialised forever, for us to heal in the safety of this place, designed to reflect the warmth of the sun and to give us shelter from the wind. Take this opportunity to reflect and to heal, knowing that those we love won't be forgotten. Therefore, we read the Emergency Services Prayer.
Almighty God of all people, we ask today for your blessing upon all our emergency services personnel throughout Australia and New Zealand as they work to protect and preserve life and property across our nations. We thank you for all who take risks and make sacrifices for others in their daily work, and especially for the men and women who work in our emergency services. Help us to honour and appreciate our fire and emergency services, and to be thankful for them as we offer our support to them all. Be with them each day, keep them safe, and enable them to do their work without threat or harm. Maintain a culture of respect and appreciation in our nations, and inspire those who work in our emergency services to excel and care in equal measure. May we be quick to thank and slow to criticise those who risk so much for our safety. On this special day, we also remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, having lost their lives in the line of duty. Protect and care for their families, colleagues and friends as they remember and honour their loved ones. We unite as one to offer our prayer in faith, believing. Amen.
Thank you. Please welcome Chris Hardman, Chief Fire Officer of Forest Fire Management Victoria, to speak on behalf of the AFAC National Council.
Thank you, Rebel. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in we are gathered here today in Canberra, the Ngunnawal people, and pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging, and any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people that may be with us today. Today is an important day to acknowledge the people in our community. We have gathered here this morning to acknowledge the courage and self-sacrifice of the brave men and women who have committed their lives to the service of others, and pay tribute to all that have lost their lives in the line of duty. We are joined today by some of the families and loved ones of these courageous community members. To all of the mothers, the fathers, the sisters and brothers, the parents and children of those we have lost, we know you are carrying them in your hearts as we carry them in ours. Although nobody can ease the pain of your loss, Fire and Emergency Services communities in Australia and New Zealand stand with you in remembering your loved ones who paid the ultimate price to keep our communities safe. Australia's natural environment is beautiful and can be extremely dangerous. Risk of bushfire, flood, cyclones pose threats right across this country to communities everywhere. And in my role as a Chief Fire Officer in Victoria, I've seen firsthand the devastation that bushfires can bring on communities, on individuals and on families. Our ability to respond to natural disasters and other emergencies, it depends on the women and men who share a deep commitment to the service of others and who have acted on that sense of duty by giving their time to the protection of our communities and our environment in one of the most dangerous and threatening situations you can face. All of us, we wish there was no such great risk involved in providing this vital service and assistance. During times of emergency, the risk is real. We see it every day. And as a leader, we all take responsibilities for the safety of those courageous men and women on the front line. And any loss is a constant reminder to do everything we can to make the safety of our personnel our highest priority. The people who commit themselves to bushfire and emergency services come from all walks of life. They come from regional communities, from major metropolitan centres, and they do many different kinds of work. Some of them are employed in government departments, others work in rural fire services, state emergency services, they are volunteers, they are paid. Every single one of these people who take their time away from their work and their families to serve communities at the times when the risk is at its highest. Their sense of duty to their community is something larger. We all desire to protect the people we love. Anytime disaster strikes, our firefighters and emergency personnel leave their loved ones, leave their homes, and they travel to places to protect people they have never met. This act of extraordinary self-sacrifice and courage is not to be taken lightly. We would not be able to protect our communities from bushfires and other emergencies without the absolute commitment of everybody that serves in the emergency services. We can never pay the debt of gratitude we feel for our fallen personnel, but we pay tribute today. But we can promise their legacy will live on here at the Emergency Services Memorial and in all of our hearts, and we wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you. I ask Their Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, to join AFAC President, Commissioner of Fire and Rescue New South Wales, Paul Baxter, QSO, to present AFAC Memorial Medallions to the families of those who have lost their lives in the line of duty. As well as the family representatives who will be receiving medallions, we wish to acknowledge extended family members, friends and colleagues who are here today on this significant occasion, and also those joining us online. We would also like to recognise the staff from each agency who have given support to the bereaved families. To receive the medallion recognising Station Officer Stephen Richardson from Fire and Rescue New South Wales is Karen Richardson. Station Officer Richardson died on 14 June 2006 in a traffic accident at Glenfield while responding to an emergency. To receive the medallion recognising Senior Firefighter Mark White from Fire and Rescue New South Wales is Liz White. Senior Firefighter White died on 19 May 2020 from a medical episode while on duty at St Mary's. To receive the medallion recognising Morris Treelaw from the South Australian Department of Woods and Forests is Benjamin Treelaw. Firefighter Treelaw died on 5 April 1958 when he was trapped and overrun by fire in the Wandillo forest. To receive the medallion recognising Senior Station Officer Ryan Clay from the Northern Territory Fire and Rescue Service is Danielle Clay. Senior Station Officer Clay died on 3 February 2018 as a result of workplace cancer. To receive the medallion recognising Station Officer Thomas Lawler from the Northern Territory Fire and Rescue Service is Eva Lawler. Station Officer Lawler died on 27 October 2018 as a result of workplace cancer. To receive the medallion recognising Vice Captain Robert Platt from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service are Pamela Piper, Michael Platt and Mark Hausler. Vice Captain Platt died on 28 February 1932 when he was struck by a falling tree limb at Breakfast Creek. To receive the medallion recognising firefighter Reg Gartrell from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service is Rod Gartrell. Firefighter Gartrell died on 16 August 1976 from a medical episode while on duty at Teresa Park. To receive the medallion recognising firefighter Gregory Moon from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service is Beverly Moon. Firefighter Moon died on 9 January 1983 when he was trapped and overrun by fire at Grays Point. To receive the medallion recognising Senior Deputy Captain Donald Depler from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service are Wayne Depler, Lisa Rudd and Jodie Cottam. Senior Deputy Captain Depler died on 31 January 2011 from a medical episode while on duty. To receive the medallion recognising Deputy Captain Michael Mariah from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service is Amelia Mariah. Deputy Captain Mariah died on 18 May 2013 as a result of workplace cancer. To receive the medallion recognising Deputy Captain Keith Lyons from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service is Sue Lyons. Deputy Captain Lyons died on 12 May 2020 as a result of workplace cancer. To receive the medallion recognising Deputy Captain Jim Shanahan from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service is Gay Shanahan. Deputy Captain Shanahan died on 9 October 2020 from a medical episode following a vehicle fire in the Chifley Lithgow area. The wreath-laying ceremony will now commence. I ask Their Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, together with Commissioner Baxter, to lay a wreath to commemorate those who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Representing the AFAC Board, Commissioner Carleen York, APM, and Commissioner Darren Clem, AFSM. Mark Glauser and Janet Meyer to acknowledge our partnerships with Canada and the United States. Gordon Hall, Bruce Corbett and Andy Wood, representing volunteer associations. I now invite the 12 families who received a medallion to lay a wreath together. There will be an opportunity for all others to pay their respects and leave a sprig of rosemary on the memorial wall at the conclusion of the service. Please all stand while we observe a minute's silence to reflect and remember those who have lost their lives protecting our communities. Please be seated for the benediction.
As we continue this day and go our separate ways, we leave this sacred space in peace, keeping those memorialised here in our hearts and thoughts. I therefore respectfully ask that may the spirit of my faith and beliefs bless me and keep me safe. May the love of my faith and beliefs illuminate me and be gracious in its benevolence toward all beings that I may encounter. May the joy of my faith and beliefs lift my spirit and give me and all beings peace. May my inner devotion grow and have me realise that the foundation of my faith and beliefs is a personal strength that grounds me in all moments of my life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our service. On behalf of AFAC, thank you very much for your attendance and to all who contributed to this significant event. You are welcome to come forward and place your rosemary on the memorial wall as a sign of remembrance. Please join us on the lawn for light refreshments. Thank you and good morning.